You are generous. You are grateful. You show up. You are getting better and better in all areas every day. You know things are always working out for you. You allow things to be easy. You are a powerful creator. You see the best in yourself and the best in others. You are wise. Your intuition is always perfect. You are kind. You are love. You are great. You are funny. You are forgiving. You are doing your best. You are figuring it out. You are confident. You are capable. You are an effective communicator. You speak your truth. You inspire others. You are joy. You are connected to the infinite. You are healthy. You feel wonderful in your skin. You willingly give and graciously receive. You are loving. You care. You are great at what you do. You always find solutions. You are calm. You are the universe. You see the best in yourself and the best in others. You are wise. Your intuition is always perfect. You are kind. You are love. You are great. You are funny. You are forgiving. You are doing your best. You are figuring it out. You are on purpose. You know. You are confident. You are capable. You are an effective communicator. You speak your truth. You inspire others. You are joy. You are connected to the infinite. You are healthy. You feel wonderful in your skin. You willingly give and graciously receive. You are loving. You care. You are great at what you do. You always find solutions. You are calm. You are amazing. Oh my goodness. So good to listen to. Welcome to day 2, everybody. Put your video on. Let's get on the court as we talked about playing full out. And I want to congratulate all of you on coming to day 2 because sometimes that day 1, we can be like, oh no, because we were maybe stirring stuff up. So I want to get started right away. I've got a really full 90 minutes with you that there's things I want to get through. I want you to hear from some other people that you're going to just love to hear. I mean, how great was it yesterday to hear from Victoria and Sonia? Let me know in the chat how you enjoyed hearing from them. Wasn't that great? Yeah, so inspiring, right, Jalpa? And so what I want you to do today, what I want to start with is, what did you become aware of yesterday? Were there any limiting beliefs that you became aware of yesterday? And thank you, Audi has reminded us to please make sure that you rename yourself. And I've just jumped it right in. If you show up as iPhone or owner, please rename yourself. And also, you'll notice the people that are on my team have the same background with our logo, and they've got HKW beside their name. So if you need anything, please reach out to them. Okay, let's start to look at this. Sharon became aware of limiting beliefs in herself and obtaining her own success. Marite needs to expand her cup. Wasn't that powerful? The cup? She needs to expand. That's the work. That's the work. Angela says, I have a vision for what I want, but I continue to sink into the feeling of not worthy. It's too big, it's too hard. We got you, Angela. Thank you for being so honest. Angela Grace, several judgments. We got you. Kimberly realized, I think small, I charge small. Beautiful. Coach Kath says, my aha, you don't get what you want, you get how you feel about what you want. Amen to that, Coach Kath. Jalpa says, the visual of cups was so powerful. Yes, the cup with the money work, that shocked you guys, right? It was an emotional impact. Nisha says, I need to look at my identity more. Yes. Carol says, I've been in the small cup and I want to expand. Well, you're in the right place because that's exactly what we're going to do today. Yvonne, I would like some practical tools. You're going to get them today. You're also going to get them tomorrow on the VIP day. And before we leave the call today, I'm actually going to give you something to think about, kind of a bit of an assignment. I want you to think about it. It's not going to take you very long, but I want you to come to the VIP session with that. I'm going to announce it at the end of this call. We'll also send it at the email. If you're not in the VIP session, why not? Let's drop the link in and you can sign up for the VIP session. Stuart recognized anger towards people who grew up with lots of money and didn't have to work hard, right? So good. Such great awareness. I would like a venti, please. I love that, Coach Kath. Yeah, I would love a venti. And you know, Coach Kath, sometimes when we are not attached to something, it's really easy, right? Like, I would love a parking spot. I would love this. I would love that. So why not say, I would love the self-image of the biggest, boldest, venti beyond coffee cup. I'm going to reach over here for it. Here, I would love this. Gosh, what could I receive in a cup like this? What would I become aware of? Now, what I want to ask you is, what do you think is holding you back? And I want you to share one kind of limiting belief you came up with. What is one? And how do you think that's holding you back? We'll hear from, well, I'll read a few from you and then I want to share something with you. Yeah, so for me, I had limiting beliefs like rich people are greedy, it's shallow, egotistical to desire wealth. Fear, Angela says. Okay, Carol says, I don't know what to do. It's the doing. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, Carol, what you can ask yourself is, and I'm just going to use these cups here, does this version of you, let's say, that has your goal, think, I don't know what to do? Fear of being seen and arrogant. Again, does this version of you fear being seen as arrogant? Coach Kath says, I've struggled with rest more, make more. I've seen others do it. Yes, we can definitely talk about that. Tara says, it's selfish to want more when you do have. Right. Does this version of you, Tara, feel that it's selfish to desire more? One of the things that I came to, Tara, is that I live in gratitude. I'm so grateful for what I have, and I desire more. And. So what I want you to recognize is that there are things that this version of you are thinking that is a match to a certain amount of wealth, that is able to receive a certain amount. There's a financial set point to this. Those thoughts don't live in this identity. And now here's the thing. There's even thoughts in this identity that you went to from here to here that don't live in this identity. and so on and so on and so on. So we want to work with wherever your kind of quantum leap is. And that's what we're going to do today. Because when we think of Sonia and Victoria yesterday, so Sonia shared that if I had said to her when we first started working together, Sonia, guess what? I have a crystal ball and all of these things are going to happen for you. She would not have believed me. Now, why would she not have believed me? Because from this version of her, she's going to go to, which many of you are already. I don't know how. How would that happen? This version of her could not execute that. It makes sense that she wouldn't believe me. It makes sense she wouldn't believe me because she wouldn't be able to get her logical mind there. She wouldn't be able to get her mind there. However, as she started to expand her identity, and that started from being honest with herself, all progress starts with telling ourselves the truth. Now, in the expansion, so imagine that, remember, this is what you're available to receive. And that doesn't only include money. It's all, it's ideas, it's moving on things, your confidence, everything, because you can't outperform your self-image, your habits. So as she starts to work on her identity and start to make that shift, ideas are coming to her, ideas that could never come to her here. Now, the idea is always here because creation is finished. The idea is here, but she would not recognize it. She would not notice it. It could be right in front of her, but she wouldn't see it. And that's why we did that exercise. And wasn't that fun? In the success circle, sharing money and how it's come to you in expected and unexpected ways, in the form of gift cards, in the form of a tax refund, in the form of a client, in many different forms. Today I found $1 when I was going to start the morning calls. And do you know what number we're up to now? Charmaine gave me the number. We're at $122,072.60 in a very short amount of time. Oh, and Sharon just got 2 free bagels this morning. Put that in, Sharon, after the call. Put that in after the call. So do you understand when I say things like, well, the how is none of your business, and that's really frustrating. And I know many of you are like, tell me what to do, the strategy. It's going to be like the finances. It's like, I'm going to be stuffing a strategy into an old paradigm. It's not going to work. We've got to enlarge your capacity to receive, to even be able to have the thoughts of a person that executes the strategy in a way that, even if it doesn't seem to be working, that you stay the course. Even if it feels like you made a misstep, that you course correct. I was talking this morning on our morning call, and who was on the morning call, by the way? It was a great call, wasn't it? I love those calls. And I was sharing that I heard this, and I thought this was such a great analogy, that if a bird, and I'm looking right now outside, I can see some trees. I'm on the 3rd floor in our house. And if there's a bird can sit on a branch that is not very sturdy. Now, why can a bird sit on a branch that is not sturdy? Can perch itself on a branch that's maybe flimsy? Because the bird trusts its wings. I can give you all the strategy, but if you don't trust yourself, if you don't have a capacity to also be able to be with all the good that comes your way, you're going to sabotage yourself. It's like when you're building a house, you want a strong foundation. So we don't want to put a strategy into an old paradigm. The money is here. It's all here. Some of you could go to your local convenience store, buy a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it. In fact, I think somebody did that. And the next day, have a lot of zeros, a lot of numbers added to your bank account from a lottery ticket. Some of these in the States, in the US, those Powerballs, things like that, like it is, there's the money is here. We have to line up to the money. And where do we line up? Is it outside of us or inside of us? It's inside. Imagine you're the ATM. And some of you are slowing it down, literally blocking it, saying, I'm not worthy. No, no, I'm not worthy. I've done irresponsible things before. I'm not a good money manager. I spent some things in a way that wasn't great. I've made some poor decisions. So it's all here, and it's kind of what Vernon Howard says, using your hands to try to block a river or an ocean. Like there's so much abundance, and we just want to have it on automatic. When you flip your light switch in your room, do you wonder if it's going to turn on? When you turn on the tap in the washroom, are you like, oh, I hope water comes out? No, and you control the flow, right? Of that water. Do you want it to be faster? Do you want it to be a trickle? What if that's what it's like with money? I'll tell you something, spoiler alert, it is. But you see, you're not going to even be able to accept that or think about that with this mindset. We've got to start to work on this. And I know that it's frustrating. I know that it can be frustrating. And that's why we looked at on day one, how does resistance show up for you in judging, in anger, and all of those things? And I invited you to just park that, because this is not going to feel good necessarily to the part of you that wants to stay here, because this has to die for this. Victoria, 2 months in a row, made her annual income her monthly income, and November's income was more than her annual income in that month. So that's a quantum leap. You've taken everything you've done. So think of time, right? You've taken everything you've done in a year and now done it in a month. But she had to create the self-image, the identity. And because we've worked together and I was with her, as many of you were on this call, my clients, we could see decisions that she had to make that were decisions of this kind of person with this capacity that had nothing to do with money necessarily, but it was the standards that a person holds. Your self-image is a combination of your standards and your stories. And many of you don't know that you're telling yourself stories that is keeping money away. You're resisting it with the stories that you're saying. And those stories, BS, belief systems, are not serving you. And so my hope for you is that you drop those stories. Imagine if Victoria or Sonia said, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Now is not the right time to work on their self-image, because we think, you know what, when that happens, then I'm going to do it. Imagine if they waited until a crisis hit. I was talking to someone the other day and he was talking about, he said, I was in a rock bottom sandwich. He goes, I was already at rock bottom and then more happened. I was in a rock bottom sandwich. Imagine if they said, you know what, I'm going to delay this until the perfect time. And imagine if they postponed finding a supportive community. Right? Like it's all here. It's all here right now. And what we want to do, for those of you who are itching for a tool or a strategy, I got you. I'm going to help you out now. First of all, does this make sense? Let me just add one more thing here. The reason this is so important is because our mindset around it's is what we're attracting with our mindset. Now, your actions come from who you're being. So if you are being, oh no, 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 I can't, oh no, 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 I'm not worth it. Oh no, it's hard. Oh no, what if I fail? What are the actions? And you can even look at what your limiting beliefs are that you identified. What are the actions that come from that? That come from limiting beliefs like rich people are greedy, money is the root of all evil. Um, you name some. Put some in the chat for me and tell me what are the actions that come from that if you're being that. When I think of it, not raising my rates, being very scared to ask people to purchase, not do, which would mean, but I wouldn't make this connection, but I just wouldn't be doing sales calls. I'd be busy with other things. Procrastination, Julie says. Yeah, I'm new, so small change, not taking the actions, staying afraid. And what happens is that's why community, I think, is so important because you're around people that have done it afraid. You're around people that have created what it is that you desire to create. And Jim Rohn and so many people talk about how who you spend your time with directly impacts you. So spend time with spend a lot of time with four people who are very much into the outdoors. You will be the fifth. Spend time with four people who are very much into books and reading books. You will be the fifth. You'll find a love for reading. Spend a lot of time with four people that are millionaires. You will be the fifth. Their language will rub off on you. Their beliefs will rub off on you, just like the ones you have now rubbed off on you. Yeah, Nadia says she would be selling afraid, right? That's right. Stuart says you push money away. And then you're missing so many opportunities. And it's like we talked about, Stuart, you don't even see them as opportunities. It's like a unpolished diamond. It looks rough in its original state. Nancy says, Hina, I'm still very interested in knowing how you knew with Charmaine that she was not aligned with her goals originally. How did that present itself? Charmaine, we got to dig that up. We've got to dig up that video. Let's see if we can find it because I actually can't remember, to be honest. It was Charmaine that told me, she goes, Hina, do you know what you said to me? I remember, it's funny, I don't remember that. What I remember is an acronym that we gave her, which was BVOM by the end of that call. And that was best version of myself. I said, that's how you have to show up. That's what I remember. So we'll have to find that. Okay, I want you to, now for my clients, this will be different. I want you to pull up your calendar, everybody. Pull up your calendar, whether I don't know, does anybody use a planner? The woman, Taylor, bless her heart, who does my hair and makeup still uses an old-fashioned calendar. But many of you may have it on your phone. So this is a time where you can look at your phone and look at your calendar. Now, your calendar, so we can even look at December, Jan, Feb, March, like just flip through it. Because what you're seeing is your set point. Now, again, for my clients, it'll be different because we're working on this. But if you're not a client, you're seeing your set point. You're seeing the actions that you're taking. You're seeing your results. Does that make sense? And so if nothing changes, and you do everything that's in that calendar, and again, for non-clients, I know the clients are different. What would be the result? Would anything change would anything change from 2024 or 2023? Would there be much change? No, everything will remain the same. Yes. And isn't that so good to know, Morella? Like we can see it. We can see it. Carol says, oh, yikes, not much will change. No, it's honestly not rocket science. Show me your calendar and we can see what your priorities are and we can see what the year's going to be. And it's like that story we talked about in psychocybernetics where 5,000 every year, no matter the territory, no matter the increase in commissions, it's a set point. Now, would you like to change that? Would you like something different? Would you like to create something that you've never perhaps created before? Would you like to have your annual income in a month like Victoria has done twice in a row? Okay. So then what I want you to write down is what is your, and everyone have paper here, what is your Q1 goal for 2025? And I'm going to share my screen here. Actually, I'll share it in a moment. What's your Q1 goal? And you can even put it in the chat. I can work with some of you here too. What's your Q1 goal in 2025? Morella, you may have a goal of how many transactions you want to complete. There could be a money. Heather says 100K. I love it. 150,000, Morella says. Beautiful. Great. Now tell me, Heather, Morella, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Tell me, how would you feel? And everybody think about this. Like, how would you feel from the place you did it? 6 figures in the first quarter of 2025. How does that feel? It feels amazing, accomplished, amazing, beautiful. So it feels amazing. Great. And then what I want you to think about, and we did this exercise with my clients and I loved it, this calendar exercise, is because it feels amazing, what are some things that, it kind of allows you to do? What difference does it make? Why 100,000 in the first quarter? Why 6 figures in the first quarter? It feels right, Coach Kath says. Deborah says accomplished. And the reason I'm asking why is because the supply is infinite and we want to have a demand for it. I want it because of this, this, and this. This will allow me to do this, this, and this. And we're not talking about this will allow me to pay my bills. Okay, that's a given. Remember, that's not what money is for. That's one of the functions of it. So it would remove the burden of worry. But what would that allow? So we've got the money coming in, Kimberly. What would it allow you to do? So that's the feeling. So what we can notice is that we're feeling free here, but what would you do? What would it allow you to do? Sharing my gifts with bigger, greater impact. Yeah, because you know what? It could. Heather says, inspire my community, example, a book, luxury family trips, because it could allow you to invest more into your business. It could allow you to hire people, which, then supports other people. It could allow you to invest in some other things on the back end as well. It could allow you to take a trip with your family. It could allow you to do some bonuses for your team. It could allow you to do incentives for your team as well. It could allow you to be able to give back in a way that you've wanted to. So that's what I want you to connect with. It could allow you to invest more in real estate. It could allow you to use that money to allow that to grow for you in other ways. It could allow you to invest money in your business, education, hire a team to expand. Yes. These are the things that I want you to think about. Okay. So now, what you want to do. So this is, can everybody see my screen? Yes, beautiful. So this is just, we're doing this very, very high level. We're doing this high level. With clients, we can go deeper into this, but right now we're just going to do this high level. So March 31st, in March, you hit that 6 figures. You've created it. You feel unburdened. You feel free. There are things that you're starting to look at, like searches that you're doing online. There are things that are happening there in March as a result of this that would have started to happen earlier. So, what we want to do is actually think from the goal. So, you want to put that in your calendar. Now remember, we're creating a different calendar because remember what you told me, that if you keep going as your calendar as is, it will produce what you've always produced. It will be the same year. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a tweak. It's like that person in psychocybernetics. You can start off strong, but you'll still level off the same. So I'm going to actually ask you to put some different things in your calendar. And you may feel resistance to this. And you can even just do like you may feel resistance to this, but I'm going to ask you to put some dates in, and you can put it directly into your calendar, or you can just put it on a piece of paper. Are you willing to do that? Yes. Okay. So I want you, now again, if you're my client, you'll already have this in your calendar. I want you to put Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., the rise. So you've got that all in March, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., the rise. Now, you might be in a different time zone. It doesn't matter. You're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and you're going to do the rise. The rise are morning calls. It's a morning routine. It's study. Okay. So imagine you're doing that every day in March, Monday to Friday. Okay. Tell me when you've got that in. You don't have to, again, you can just write it down like Monday to Friday, the rise. You've got it in, Carol? Perfect. Okay. February. So we're working backwards. February, same thing. Now, what I also want every person to put in here, and this is, I want every person to put in retreat, that you're doing a retreat from February 12th to the 16th. Just put it in. Don't ask how, don't ask, I don't know, I don't want to hear about, well, I've got this and that. Don't worry about it. I want you to see something. You wanted a tool, you wanted strategy. I want you to see something. Tell me when you've got that in. Yes, and the rise. Yeah, you've got the rise in there, the 12th to the 16th, you've got the retreat. Beautiful. January, month of January. Oh, is that your birthday weekend, Tara? Amazing. Month of January, you put in the rise as well. And now December, this month, the same. Now, this is something different in your calendar. So now I want you to think, remember, I want you to just think and be very neutral about this. Look at the calendar that you looked at first. When you said, yeah, that would be the same, it would lead me to the same. Now look at it. We can just relax here. We're just allowing ourselves to imagine here. Now imagine that you lived the calendar where you were getting into a peak state every day, starting to address things at the root level, and you're starting like this, would this change? Would there be a change? Yes or no? Tara, yes, yes. Nisha, yes. Morella, of course. Angela, definitely. Why? Why would there be a change? I'm not telling you, I'm not giving you a strategy per se. This is a tool, but why would there be a change, Morella? Why would there be a change for you in your outcome in your first quarter of 2025? Stephanie says, fantastic exercise in a. Okay, yes, you're going to watch the recording, Stephanie. A mindset shift, Christina says. I'll be connecting with new people every day, like-minded. Here's what's happening that is not happening in your current calendar. Going from this to this. What is happening in your current calendar is trying to stuff a lot of new strategy. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and that's what's happening in your current calendar in this. What you would be doing is the expansion, because that happens by getting to the root level, getting to that core paradigm. You see, Victoria did not, the reason Victoria created her annual income in a month in October was not because the money wasn't there. It wasn't because people didn't want her product. It was because she was not a match to it. Because she was not a match to it, she wasn't taking action in that way. As she started to develop herself, her actions changed. So, what you're going to notice is your actions are very different from that, because you're acting and being from freedom, from unburdened. This means that you're going to talk about whatever scale of business you're at, you're going to be making decisions and speaking about it to people in a different way, because you're not moving to it. You're not operating from your limited ideas and trying to keep it away. You now have a self-image that welcomes it, that is available for it, that can have it. Does this make sense? Yes, you would have a community to expand your view. Are you understanding this? Because I know that sometimes it can be so. Okay, so here's also what I want to tell you. This has nothing to do with the economy. And Mirella, I know that you're in the real estate world, and we have many clients that are in the real estate world. And we can say, well, the market, it hasn't been like this. You're not going to be thinking, you wouldn't even be engaging in conversations about the market. You wouldn't even be thinking that way. You're going to be looking for opportunities, because you're going to start to think differently, and then you have different ideas. That's right. The market's the market. There's always going to be a market. I love that you say that it doesn't affect you. So I'm going to give you your homework before we end today for tomorrow. But I want you to say to me, what is happening when you look at both those calendars? What is becoming very clear for you? And then I want to hear from, we're going to bring up some people for you to hear from who have done exactly this. What is becoming clear for you? One of the things, there was this study, and I'll let you put that in, that was done with fleas. And I love that question. How do we sign up for the rise? Mario can share that with you. Uh, Absolutely. Mario will put in the link. And for anybody else that wants to sign up for it, we will make sure it's the right fit for you. That's important, that it's the right fit for you. So there was this exercise, this experiment that was done on fleas. And they put fleas in a jar, and then they put the lid on it. So of course they could only jump so high. And then 3 days later, not months later, 3 days later, they took the lid off. And guess what happened? Can you guess what happened when they took the lid off? The fleas stayed in the jar. They still didn't go past that. Now it became an invisible barrier. And some of you have that. Then they took some of those fleas and put them in a jar with other fleas that never had that barrier. And it did not take very long for the original fleas to start to jump high because of the group of fleas they were with. Now, what's interesting is generationally, the generation of fleas, new fleas in that original jar would only also jump as high as the others. So, who you are with makes a difference, who you surround yourself with. And then that affected future generations. So, let's look at this. Shelley says, for her, it would be 50,000 fully launched signature coaching program. That's the possibility. 25 clients enrolled. So what I want you to know is that, you see, when you're in this, there's no possibility here. There's just more of this. In order to create this, guess what? You've got to get out of this. This does not exist here. In the constraints, we're going to talk about constraints tomorrow on the VIP call. The constraints, it doesn't exist. This is a constraint. I make this a circle. This is your world. This is your world. And so many people are keeping themselves small in this world. The $50,000 coaching launch does not exist, Shelley, in this world. It exists outside of this world. Retta says, what's clear to me is that I was not operating from the expanded cup over the past 3 months. And as such, I've not populated my calendar to meet my new goal in the first quarter of 2025. And Aretta, what's so great is that you can do that now. And this is what we say. We're like, listen, I'm telling you, people in my community, we're having quantum leaps because we're starting January well ahead of anybody else because we're thinking we're planting seeds now, even making calls, doing business now. People are signing up. Some people are having their best months in a slow month. Betty says there is a shift in the mindset allowing growth, the difference between the two calendars. And if your actions, Betty, come from your mindset, then there's going to be a different effect, a different result. Okay, I want to bring up, you know what? Let's bring up Michelle first. Let's bring up Michelle. You're going to hear from two incredible people here. Michelle.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Michelle, what time is it for you?
It is 5:45.
5:45. Michelle is in Ireland. Michelle, gosh, I'm so excited. I want to jump right in, but can you share with people where you were, what stage of life you were at, what was happening in your life, in your family before we started working together?
Yeah. So I had my third child 17 months ago. And after my third child, I started to have a little bit of a mindset shift because for years I had been, now I can see it so clearly, I had been in a victim identity. I identified as being as the victim with the chronic illness and feeling so bad all the time. And then that was such a great excuse for me not to go after my dreams of being an artist. And it was just, I was always keeping myself small, always keeping myself safe. And I always felt like I needed permission even to invest in myself in any sort of way. And so after my third child, I actually started to paint again, and then started to read some books and then listen to podcasts. And then I came across your podcast and I was listening, and it just seemed like such a big dream for me to even join the program. I just thought there is no way I could do that. I cannot afford it. I need to be so rich to do that. I need to have permission from my husband, and it just seems so far reaching. And but the more I listen to you, the more I just there was something in me that I just wanted to join this program. And I think it was then in August I made the decision to join. And it was just so freeing to decide to invest in myself. It was just such a great feeling, because I think it was the first time really in my life that I really took that control to invest in myself. And I just loved it. I love listening to the calls. I just love learning about it. I think I found a new passion, is
Oh,
as well as my art.
yeah.
I just love the learning. And I even found myself, I am coaching strangers I meet. Even my dentist, the last day, he said to me, are you coaching me? And I was like, oh, I think I am actually. He's like, "It's very interesting. You're very good at it." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Michelle,
Anyway,
this is incredible. I just want to ask you something. So,
yeah.
so I want everyone to hear this because Michelle was her world was very small. It was, I'm a victim, I have chronic illness, I have these young children, stay at home mom, and so many of us have put our dreams on the shelf for whatever reason. And so your youngest was 17 months at the time?
No, he's only 17 months now.
Oh,
So yeah, so he just turned one when I
he
think
just turned 1. So I
yeah.
want everyone to hear that because there's always going to be circumstances that make this not the right time. And I mean that's a perfect example. What is
Yeah.
interesting is the feeling that you had once you made the investment, because even in that, even if it was scary, it would have increased your self-image.
Hmm. Yeah. Sorry, you broke up a little bit there, but
Oh,
just what I
yeah,
heard is that you're yeah, it was like, when I think back, it was the busiest time of my entire life. I had never been so busy. Three kids, staying home. I don't have that much help with the kids, so um to also then I decided to start my business, do my online business, and same thing, the busiest I've ever been. How am I going to do this? I told people my idea, maybe wait a few years time until the kids are older and you have more time. And I just every nap time, every 5 minutes I had, every 10 minutes I have, like, I just spent it on these small little actions of, you know, calling people, making my website, reaching out to artists. Like, it's amazing how these little 5 minute actions just built and built and built and built. And like, it obviously it built so much that I did finish the website. And you know, I are you still there? Because you frozen. Oh,
yeah,
there, you're back
yeah.
again. Um, yeah, so it was just amazing that, again, at the busiest time in my life, I decided to do this. So there is
Okay,
no
so
there is
here's
no
the
right
thing.
time, but that was.
Michelle is making it sound like, because this is what happens in retrospect. It's so easy. It makes sense. Do you know how it's like that magic trick when a magician reveals their trick? It's like it feels so obvious, right? So of course that happened. And when Michelle would tell people, other people, it would be like, yeah, maybe you need to wait a few years. The children are young. But what would happen when you told people in our community that you wanted to do this now, that you had this dream?
Oh, it was just so natural. Everybody's just so encouraging, and just, of course you're going to do that. Of course it's going to happen. It just,
Yeah.
nobody blinked. Nobody was shocked. It was just, again, so natural for me to do this.
And then so what happens is now Michelle, she's here, she's confident, she's on these calls. She's now her identity
Yeah,
has
breaking up here.
expanded. From this expanded identity, she's now taking action. And there's been even, and I want you to remember, this is since August. I'm not even talking, years and years ago. This is since August that it wasn't even really a fully formed idea. What are the few things that have happened since you started being from this larger expanded version of yourself, Michelle? What is some of the action you have taken?
Um, so the actions in terms of building my business, is it?
Well, I would love for you to share about the where your art is going to be soon
Yeah.
and those kinds of
Okay.
risks or putting yourself out there.
Yeah. So I once I did launch my website, you're always going to, it's again, it's a practice, this learning, this mindset, because I launched the website and after like a couple of days there was no sales, and I could feel my old paradigm, my old self saying, "Oh, this terrible idea. What have I done? I'm not going to make any money from this." And but again, from listening to the calls, talking to you, it's the continuous repetition of feel like stay in the essential. Just, I am the source. I am the source. And I just made the sales irrelevant in my head. I just was like, they're absolutely irrelevant to how I'm feeling, because this is so exciting for me and this is so enjoyable for me. And I love doing that. And I would love to make money, but at the end of the day, it's not the money that's going to make me feel good. It's myself. So from that, I just started talking to people, and I went into this local establishment, and I was talking to the owner, and he, out of the blue, just offered me this beautiful demonstration area for a Christmas market, which is happening this Saturday and Sunday, to showcase all my art, my artwork, and all the other artists' work, and for free of charge as well. He was so nice and so kind, and he was just so accommodating. He said he would build me even to get the carpenter in to help me build structures for the art, and it was amazing. And I also, at the same time, was within a couple of days, I was emailing the owner of the this 5-star hotel, which is just down the road from me, and I wrote this really good email. I am like, it was, I spent a lot of time, making this email, and he got back to me, and I could see he followed me on my Instagram as well, on the new business. And he said, just come in and bring some 30 pieces with you, just for me to see them. And I was like, 30 pieces, oh my gosh. So I went in and we had a great chat, and he walked me around the hotel, and then at the end of it, he said to me, I said, I loved that you were so bold to email me on a Sunday, he said, and to have the courage to just ask me to come in, and that my art would be perfect for the hotel. And he's like, you know what? I would like to offer you, as you would become like an employee of the hotel, and I would get you to curate 4 corridors of the hotel for the end of February, and I'll give you a budget for that. And I was just blown over. I couldn't believe it. It was just out. It just, again, it felt like out of the blue. I knew I had created this because through my actions, but it was just such a good feeling. And it's like, that's the feeling I wanted. It wasn't even the feeling of, making the money. It's just like, it was such a great feeling, and it just felt so lovely. So yeah, so that's where.
Michelle, oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, are you seeing what was it that changed was her concept of herself. And from that concept of herself, she can have bold asks. She can make bold requests. She can make things that might seem unreasonable, like who would send an email on a Sunday? But when you're so when you've got that self-image and you're expanded, you're the one that will do that. But this version won't. This version is the victim. Oh, woe is me. Like I've got all of these things. And it's not to say that that things don't happen, but that kind of action could not come from this. Are you guys seeing this? That kind of action could not come from this. It couldn't.
Shoot,
And so that's why
broken
Michelle
up again.
really worked on herself. And that is what allowed her to take these bold actions. Now, again, here's the thing. if I said to you, Michelle, when you first started in August with a 1 year old and figuring things out, Michelle, you know what? In a few months, in just a few months, your art is going to be on the walls of a 5-star hotel. And not only that, they're going to pay you. Like you're going to have a budget to do this. Would you have believed me?
No, I couldn't have imagined it. It's something you don't know, as you say, you don't know the how, you don't know the end result, but I still always had a trust that something is going to show up. Like in our goal setting call, I remember saying to you that I said, I at the moment it's not a money making model what I'm doing, but I'm like I have a feeling it will work out somehow, and it's amazing because now this has opened up so many other possibilities for me that I hadn't thought about before, and I'm thinking I could be the number one curator for all the 5-star hotels in Ireland, So, and then not even that, I'm like, but what else can I do? It's just it's that is exciting, that is really exciting for me. So
If we
yeah,
go then from this to this, then it's like, it's
yeah,
like, oh, I could be the sought after number one in Ireland. Oh, in Europe. Oh, globally, like, sent across the world to set up the artwork, to find local artisans, I mean, you blew the lid off of what you think is possible for you when you start to get honest with yourself and work on you. And you had to, but that could
yeah.
not have happened if you kept a victim mindset. It's not compatible.
No,
Thank you,
no,
Michelle.
I'm a different person.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you.
much.
I want to ask you one more thing, Michelle, because you said
Yeah.
I'm a different person. Does your husband notice a difference in you?
Do you know what? That's so funny. I actually was going to ask him that question today,
Ah,
and I was just
ask
about to,
him.
and then maybe a kid walked in or whatever. But yeah, I think he has noticed, but I must ask him. I
Yeah,
will.
please do. And let me know on the
I think
call
he has.
tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Okay. Thanks.
I want to
Bye.
know bye bye. I want to know for those of you that are listening, what came up for you? What is an aha moment? Because you're going to hear from somebody else. But remember, she started in August. What is it that you just became present to for yourself? A mom, young kids. Stop thinking small. Yeah. I love her thinking now. Yeah, for Kimberly, the aha was I couldn't have imagined it. And that's what I want. Isn't that interesting that that is a theme that we are seeing? I couldn't have imagined it. So if I told her that in August, she would not have believed me because from the paradigm of a victim, it literally is unimaginable. But this is why I admire, the sliver of courage. Sometimes it takes 2 seconds of courage to say, okay, I'm doing this. Gosh, imagine what she had to battle to move through to sign up for this program. I admire everyone that signs up to work with us because you've got to go past this for like 10 seconds to do it. She was someone that asked for permission before, didn't feel worthy of it. If it was for the kids, it would be a no-brainer. How many of you can relate to that? Your kids need braces, your kids need something, it is a no-brainer. But what she has created for herself is going to be life-giving to her family and her children for the rest of their life. She's actually changed something generationally now. And her children get to see a mom that is happy, that has a passion, that is satisfied, that is excited, that loves what she's doing. Absolutely amazing. So, what I'm really hoping that you're hearing is that the identity had to change, and then the external world caught up to it and would match up to it. And then she would start to see opportunities and go for it. And then the money, because remember, money doesn't come from things, it comes through things. We could have never guessed that the money could come through that way, through the hotel, or even being given a space, not being charged for it, is abundance. And that's why we did that home play, to see that not only is she not being charged for it, but she doesn't have to pay the owner to build things for her. That couldn't happen if she wasn't creating the self-image and then having the idea to go out and do it. Okay, can we bring Elena up now? Yeah. Everything comes together to support it. Elena. Oh my gosh, Elena. You know
Hi.
what I love? You guys are going to just being in Elena's energy. I always feel so calm.
You tell me it's like spending time at the spa after we talk. And it's so funny when you say that. I appreciate you, Hina. Thank you so much. But isn't this conversation so amazing to hear from her, the judgments that came up and how she worked through them. And we all experienced that too. This community is so incredible. It is a safe container for us to hear an example like that. And each one of us resonates. There's a message in there for each one of us, even though our situation may not be identical. We can apply the tools that you guys just worked through to apply to each and every one of our own situations. And that's what makes this community so amazing. Hands down, such a great, beautiful investment that I made to join this community years ago. And I'm still feeling those beautiful ripples in my life today. Where I was when I started is nowhere even close to where I am now. And I'm so thankful and grateful to you, Hina, your beautiful team, the lessons that we've learned, and all of the incredible things that I've had to navigate, including failures along the way that are just happy little mistakes. And you fail forward, learn from those, course correct, figure it out. And where I was when I first started is nowhere close to where I am now. And it'll
Can
be
you
nowhere
share where that
close.
was?
Well, I was in this, it felt like I joined your community as part of a 365-day activity challenge thing that I had set for myself. I felt like I was pulling myself. Ooh, what's going on with my lighting? I felt like I was pulling myself out of a pit, and I had this journey, this rediscovery of me, and retrust or learn to trust me again and figure out, rediscover stuff, relearn some things through these activities. So every single day I did something either new, something that inspired me, something that excited me, or something that absolutely terrified me every single day of the year. And one of those things was joining this community. We had a little bit of all of those
I was
things.
going to say, which one?
It was so exciting and inspiring. And, the investment was a little frightening at the time. It was during the pandemic. There were so many unknowns, but it was absolutely the right thing to do. Just like she was saying, I found you somewhere along the way, and I used to commute a really long distance to another province for work. And I would just listen to you on the drive. You would keep me company for like 9 hours each way. And I just couldn't get enough of what you were saying. It just resonated with me and it made sense. So I just took the leap and I joined the community and I started the calls the next month. Those calls are fire. They are so good to get you fired up for the day. Learn some incredible lessons, just like we experienced with her story. We can each take a message from that and apply it to whatever's happening in our lives. We have new tools in our toolbox that we can now apply to each of those situations to help respond to situations in a different way, or be who we are being in a new and different way. That means we get different results in a completely new and different way. So it's
Oh,
incredible.
Elena, I want to talk about, because your money experience has been very interesting. I just
Right.
feel like you're such a magnet. It's like just flowing through all these different ways to you. So could you want to share what your business is? Because I think what people are hearing is that everyone is in many different types of businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's flowing now. It wasn't necessarily when I was first starting with you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beautiful like things that's come from this. So I am an education advisor. I have been helping young people and not so young people help them figure out what it is that they want to be when they grow up. And I help navigate them through the post-secondary college university system from applying. I help them physically with their application. I'll do it on their behalf. And I get to be that fairy godmother delivering their letters of acceptance when I make their dream come true. It's absolutely so much fun. And then I work with them through graduation, and seeing them cross that stage is such an inspiring thing, because they came to me so nervous and worried, and I can just see them blossom into this incredible human at the end. It's just so wonderful to see. But yeah, my money goal, it's been just such a journey. When I started, I didn't think that, or I didn't know how to do a business on my own in this capacity that I'm doing it. I've always been an education advisor. I've been one for 25 years. That's not what I didn't know. It's amazing. Like, we know what we know. We know what we don't know. I know so much about my job. And I know that I'm not an astrophysicist. I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But there's a whole realm out there of things that we don't even know that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the biggest thing through this journey of discovering that, and these judgments that pop up on ourselves that are there just because maybe somebody else put them there, or we're doubting for no reason to be doubting. And when I think about fear is just the absence of faith. There's something there that we're not believing in that's keeping us feeling scared or stuck, and afraid maybe to move forward. But when you have that faith, that unwavering faith or belief in yourself and in the mission that you're trying to accomplish, you have to just move past that. Yeah.
And so when it came to money and building the business, because again, that's a whole different identity.
Yeah.
You're now a business owner, you're a CEO, you're a founder. So you had to create a new self image.
Completely. Yeah. And not only that, but I'm helping other people build their economy, the people who are working with me and alongside me. I am allowing them to have a paycheck for their families and the amazing things that they want to do. So it just trickles forward, and it's so beautiful to see that. And it's a beautiful responsibility to have. It's the most amazing responsibility to have. So talking about these judgments, Hannah, like I told a few like a month ago, you and I were speaking to a group of others who were joining the community, and I had made a comment that you have to be really careful about what you write down in your I am statements, your 50 wants list, and your goal card, because that stuff can absolutely come true, and it did for me. And one of the things that I had written down is that I wanted to drive a luxury vehicle. Do you remember this story, Hannah?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so I have a vehicle that is nearing the end of its life. It's 14 years old. It is time. It is over time. And I was lying in bed knowing its days are numbered and just trying to figure out what it is that I want out of a vehicle, and what I want to pay for it, the features I need and want to have for the family, and just go from there. And I manifested this beautiful new luxury vehicle, and it was an incredible experience. And the day that I showed up to drive it off the lot, the kids were with me. We were excited to get our new family member, and I started freaking out internally, of course. And my daughter, the guy's bringing it. I handed over the check. Everything's good. It's now mine. Congratulations. They hand me the keys. The guy's going to bring it around. And I start sweating and I start getting hot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And my daughter, she's just like, Mom, are you okay? You're acting weird. It's like, I'm working through some things, I think.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. And he pulls it around and I sit in and it's like, what is going on? And I thought I was hitting the terror barrier. And I just
Yeah.
kept reminding myself, no, this is what has all the things you wanted. Your other car is about to die. This is the price you wanted. You even got it lower than you had budgeted for. Like this, what is wrong with you? And I realized that I wasn't hitting a terror barrier. I was having a self-image problem. And that was a huge discovery.
Yeah.
And it's
Say more about
amazing.
that.
Yeah, it's amazing how these random judgments come up when you least expect it. I should be happy and excited about this new thing, but I was feeling resistance here. So I needed to uncover a little bit more. And driving home, made it home, ready to pull into the driveway. And I'm trying to figure out where to park this new thing because I need to get my old vehicle out of the driveway to take the kids to school the next day. And my kids are like, Mom, just park it here. We're going to take this one. And what am I thinking? Here I am in a brand new, beautiful vehicle that I just wanted so bad. And I'm thinking about taking the dinosaur to school. What's going on here? So I'm thinking about what are the neighbors going to think if I park it on the driveway?
Mhm.
What are the other parents? Sorry, what are the parents at school pickup, going to think if I show up driving this?
Mhm.
And that was huge to realize that I was feeling those judgments. And I had to work through some of them. I just came back to those I am statements. I coming back to my goal, what does a woman with my goal drive? A woman with my goal drives this beautiful vehicle. She drives a Cadillac. What does a woman with my goal, where does she park? She parks that beautiful car in the driveway and maybe even in the garage to keep it safe. Like, it's wild. I had never given myself permission, just like she was saying. It's giving ourselves permission for these beautiful things.
Yeah.
It's not who does she think she is driving a car like that. It's I am so grateful that I get to drive this vehicle and take my kids safely to school. I'm so thankful and grateful that I get to help so many people in my beautiful business, that I am giving my family an economy to give them a safe drive to school. And I'm proud to be driving the car that I drive. I'm proud of myself for accomplishing goals. I'm proud of myself for setting amazing goals and thinking insane things before breakfast. So it's that Alice in Wonderland quote. Like, I think 10 impossible thoughts before breakfast. Yeah. And then go make them happen. Go make them happen.
And what I want everyone to hear, first of all, just wow, absolutely incredible. Isn't it? Don't we all just feel like we went to the spa? I, Elena, it's always so beautiful to be with you. And you can hear in both Michelle and Elena and Sonia and Victoria from yesterday that as you start to tap into this, into your power, the asks, the what you realize is possible, it's so expansive now. It's so expansive. And so we can think impossible things. We can make unreasonable requests. And I remember, Alana, getting a message from you. I think you had just received, was it your annual, like you made more in a minute? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. And it's
Please
interesting.
share
I'm
that.
I'm so glad you talked about cybernetics because it's so important.
Yes.
Like it's like that feeling when you bill and invoice your clients for $4,000 and then a random unexpected bill for $4,000 shows up. There's
Mhm.
always these things that sort of you're so excited about moving forward, but something because you haven't done the internal work and the mental change to expand your capacity to receive and your container to hold that capacity to receive, something just keeps bringing you back to where you were. And you can have so much fun playing with that as well. So I billed and invoiced someone and it didn't get filled. They didn't pay it. And so I just said, all right, universe, like I require that money. And the next day I got a bunch more clients that made up for that deficit. So once you learn these tools, you can really have fun playing with them and figuring out your way through it. But yeah, I had invoiced and billed more that month, Hannah, than I had in the past. And it was just, it seems like every October I seem to hit this amazing quantum leap for my business. And the first year, it was confusing and surprising because I didn't expect it. Last year, I knew it was on the horizon and I was excited for it. This year, it's like blowing up, and I'm realizing I now need different supports and things. The things that got me here are not the things that are going to take me forward. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm in this next quantum leap, trying to figure it out to make that momentum push me forward again. And what's interesting is when I did text you and I said that it was such a huge amount, that I've now billed that every month since. So that's my November normal. That's going to be my December normal. And I can't wait for what lies ahead.
It's so fun when what was your ceiling becomes your floor.
And it's interesting you say that too, because when I was working in a regular job, there's a ceiling to that. You get paid 60,000 a year. You get paid 70, 80,000 a year, whatever it is. And that's it. That's your ceiling. And I remember staying in these jobs that I loved, but I remember one time it was like I was ready to go. I could feel it. You were nudging me too. And I stayed in it for as long as I did because I had 100% health benefits. And that was a reason, which is such a ridiculous reason when I look back on it, because I wasn't even using those benefits that I was entitled to. I was able to get glasses every 2 years. I still have a pair of sunglasses that I wear, prescription sunglasses, that I've had for like 11 years. I wasn't even using these silly benefits. And that's the reason that I was mentally keeping myself stuck in this lovely job. But what the heck? There is no ceiling where I am now. If I choose to make 60,000, I can. If I choose to make 80, I can. If I choose to make
And you can choose to
$500,000, I
make that in
can.
a month. You
Yeah,
can choose to make that in a week.
yes. There's no limit. And we keep ourselves in these containers. And through things like gratitude and love and expansion, we can expand those containers. Being in a supportive community like this, we can expand those containers and we can be limitless.
Yeah. And don't you, I don't know, when you start to do it and it becomes your normal, like this is her now normal. October, November, this is now normal. You it's also this is natural. I think we're supposed to be in love, in gratitude. And yes, contrast happens, but we bounce back or we learn from it. But this is natural to be so stressed, to be always kind of in a fight or flight. That's not natural, but somehow we've made that normal, and this to be, this to be something that's out of reach. But truly, I think this is our natural state. And what it does for the world, Elena. Michelle,
Mhm.
her art is going to be in the five-star hotels, what she's going to create for people because she expanded who she saw herself to be, just like you did. And now I just have to say one thing and then we'll wrap up here, Elena. Your story reminds me of Bob. So I don't know if I ever shared this story with you. So when Bob first started to create some wealth, Bob Proctor, my dear mentor, he bought a Cadillac. So back in the day, he bought a Cadillac, but he still had that self image. So sometimes what you're going to find is you're taking an action that's a bit beyond your self image, but what we want is your self image to catch up. Where it becomes problematic is if your self image does not catch up, because then you'll go back to the set point. So when Michelle had that courage to join the program and be like, I'm betting on myself. Her self-image was able to catch up to that. Same with you, Alana, with the car. So with Bob, again, that was an investment that he made before he was fully in that self-image. And when he would go visit people, because, at that time, you're not Zoom. There's, bless his heart. It means phones are still attached to the wall. There's no Zoom. There's nothing like that. You're
Different kind
driving
of
to
Zoom.
people's home. Yeah, exactly. You're driving to people's homes. And he would park a couple blocks away because he didn't want people to think, oh, like, who does he think he is showing up in this? But then one day it was winter because he was here in Toronto. And he was like, and it was cold, like, getting from the car because he parked a couple of blocks away. He was like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then his image caught up and like he was very comfortable very soon. And then that was the first of many things. But that's the beautiful thing, is treating yourself well. Like, that takes a strong self-image, believe it or not, to actually say, I desire to be comfortable. I desire to, when I'm in my car, that I feel really good and it feels good. I love all the buttons. I love having the kids in the back and knowing
Yeah.
that they're proud, and that, Alana, you did this. Their mom did this.
Yeah, and they're truly my reason why I want them to see me succeed and to do hard things so that they know that they too can do hard things too. And it doesn't have to take a lot of money in order to get into this vibration or to get into this mindset. When you change your mindset, you completely change your life. But you can do things small. It's like putting on lipstick and a nice pair of earrings to have a meeting. It's like putting on cozy sheets on your bed. It's like taking a bath with some beautiful oils or something to make yourself feel better. It's like going to the hair salon. I love this one. Going to the hair salon wearing high heels and a blazer, and you look the way you look when you walk in, but you look amazing when you walk out. And that feeling motivates you and propels you forward to do other things. It's absolutely incredible. I never gave myself permission to have my hair and makeup done. And the first time I had it done for a photo shoot, I could not believe how great I looked and that there was a possibility for me to look that great whenever I chose to do that. I had never allowed myself the opportunity. And how silly is that? And then to see yourself in a new light, in a completely new, beautiful way that you hadn't even considered before. It's just so powerful. So powerful.
Thank you, Alana.
Thank you.
I'll see you in February in Whistler.
You bet.
I cannot wait.
Me too.
Cannot wait. Thank you, Alana. I hope you're all hearing that it's self-image, it's identity. That's what has to change. That's the foundational piece that must change so that you can, because then you're enlarging your capacity to receive. And I want to give you now, and then I'm going to wrap this up. But I want to, first of all, tell you our home play is still going. So please, money that you're finding, things that you're attracting, what you're becoming aware of, keep putting it in that post, and we'll keep changing the amount. Here are the questions for those of you coming to the VIP day that I want you to think about to bring to the VIP day. So I want you to think about, and we're going to put this out in an email too, what your Q1 goal is. So some of you already announced it, like Mirella, I think it was 150,000, there was 100,000, six figures, whatever your goal is for Q1. And then I want you to answer these questions. And this is what you're going to bring. When you think of that goal, what are your three biggest opportunities right now? And what are your three biggest constraints? That's what I want you to bring. That's going to be some of the work that we're going to do tomorrow. And again, I think we've got the home play link. We'll add the VIP link as well if anybody requires that for tomorrow. And so for those of you that for whatever reason are not joining, your next step then is to right now book a call with Mario so that we can support you in that way. And then we can also, I know I was already asked about Amplify You the Rise. So let me just give you a little bit of an overview of what we do when it comes to identity. So what we're doing is we're really addressing things at the root cause and starting to change those internal shifts from victim to empowering person that takes 100% responsibility for their life. Internal shifts from, oh, I mean, I couldn't do that, to not only can I do it, but I'll do it in heels and a blazer. You know, we start to make these internal shifts, and we do that through repetition and a routine, and we're rewiring because we can come to events like this, but we're going to bounce back to our dominant beliefs. And you know what? Your dominant beliefs might be here, but you might desire to go here, right? So, whatever it is for you. And what we're doing is we're really building a new self image. And that person shows up differently in that world, and that person takes different action than the current version of you. And that's what we're working on. We're working on your self identity and releasing the things that are literally like pushing abundance away, saying, oh, no, not me. Don't look at me. I don't want the spotlight. I don't want to be too much. I'm just happy with what I have. It just can't exist in the world that I want you to live in. And then as you do that, your whole world changes because your whole world changes. You see, you start to see the world and you're in the world, you're on the court. You're not in the stands, and you're everything is happening through a new filter. It's the new filter of everything is happening for me. It's the new filter of, oh my gosh, look at her. Look at him, look at them. If they can do it, I can do it. They're showing me what's possible. It's a new filter of, yes, I have children. Yes, they may be small or maybe teens like I am, and my goals matter and my well-being matters. So what does that look like in my calendar today? No, that looks like me doing a morning routine. That looks like me having some calls. That looks like me probably getting more done by noon than most people do in a day. That looks like me booking a massage later today in the middle of the day because I can. I don't have to justify it. I don't only get to take a vacation because I'm burnt out. I remember I used to say that. I used to say, oh, I'm taking a trip, but let me tell you why. No, because it's all play and this is what I choose. I get to go to a retreat and be in this world, in this experience for days in a row. I remember how guilty I would feel the first time that I took time away from my family to do this. It was a huge paradigm shift for me because I saw time like in a way that, oh, I'm not going to get that time back, and that time, any time that I have must be spent in a certain way if I'm a good mother. So we transform your identity, and this is what we'll talk about with you on the call that you have. And then so many people have talked about community, community, community. Well, you gain leverage through the community. That's how you collapse time. You're taking action in the moment. You're not waiting because you don't have the identity of somebody that waits. And quite frankly, you kind of, people want to know because we're all up in your business. We're like, Michelle, did you do the thing? Elena, did you do the thing? And you have clarity of vision. And then as you cultivate the self image aligned with that vision, your purpose is bigger than your fear. And you notice things faster. You notice when there's a judgment about the car, and you're like, yeah, oh my gosh. It's kind of like you shake your head. You're like, oh yeah, we don't do that. I forgot. I went unconscious for a moment. I went back for a moment. Yeah, we don't do that. We show up. Because when we show up, we're showing others what's possible for them. There's going to be a time when you're going to be the person that is here. And I'm saying, tell me about when you first started. What was that like? And you're like, Hina, I remember I was on a call and I was like, I don't know, but I knew I needed something different. So this is the structured pathway that we have for clients that these clients have experienced. And I'm grateful, I'm humbled by it because I know that there are many other coaches that people could work with. And I know that we do it in my community and the way that we do it, it's different. It just is. It's just different. And if it's a different that is kind of speaking to you, then book the call with Mario. That's being on the court and see what is it, in which way we can support you to reach something that you don't even know can happen in your life, which is something that happened for each and every person. They reached something that they didn't even know could happen in their life, which also meant they reached the things that they thought could happen. And it went beyond that. And join our VIP call tomorrow, where we will go through that. How are we? Oh, it's 1:30. Okay. So again, what is your work for tomorrow to bring? It is your Q1 goal. What is that goal? And then I want you to bring your 3 biggest opportunities and your 3 biggest constraints. And I want to work with you. We're going to do like hot seat coaching tomorrow. So tomorrow you're unmuting, you're getting on the court, getting out of the stands, and we're going to play full out. I want to thank you so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Michelle, for showing up and sharing your story. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Bye for now.